This is an exciting day for our city, for the University of Louisville, for the Research Park, and for Nucleus. We're here today to celebrate what can happen when you have great public and private partnerships and collaborations. Everyone wins, as the mayor always reminds us. This partnership and this exciting project helps our community continue to achieve its vision for this park of building an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship. Nucleus was formed in 2008, primarily to help support innovation and entrepreneurship in the areas of science, research, and technology. And we work with our partner, NTS, to provide office and lab space as well. Nucleus also provides training, programs, and services to support companies in our community. The park, can you believe it, now currently has 5 buildings that total over 300,000 square feet of office, co-working, training, wet, and dry lab space. The vision of developing a state-of-the-art research park utilizing best practices is becoming a reality, particularly with the opening and the refurbishment of this newest building and the exciting project which will be occurring here. You may recall that only a short time ago, this building was being used as a restaurant, and yes, as a nightclub. It made things a little dicey down here on the park. However, it is undergoing quite a transformation, a wonderful transformation, in fact, that you are going to hear about more, that adds certainly a tremendous value to the park and to this area of the city. This project represents one of the most dynamic aspects that I see when I visit other research parks, and this partnership has made this possible. It's happening here today, and we're excited to celebrate with you.
Thank you for coming to this event. It's an important event for the University of Louisville, and it's one where I am very pleased to announce the official opening of Nucleus's newest building. As Vickie mentioned, this was a vacant, rundown former bar and restaurant, and I didn't really know it was a nightclub, but that's good to learn. This has been transformed into a high-tech hub for Louisvillians to learn new skills that will give them the opportunity for good jobs, high-paying jobs in the computer coding field. This opening is particularly pleasing to me because it is related to my own academic area of engineering. It is energizing to see how developments in computer technology are paying off in a big way, with opening new and exciting opportunities at all levels. This is a public-private partnership. You are sitting in what is now called the Trinity Room, and that's because the private company Trinity Video Communications has generously partnered with us to donate equipment for this, high-tech equipment for this facility. Kentuckiana Works is bringing its Code Louisville program to the center, which will make more jobs in computer technology available for citizens throughout this community. Learning House, a company spun off from UFL Research, will offer coding boot camps at this facility, and this is just the beginning. You may have heard or read stories about a shortage of workers entering basic computer fields. Coding is one of those areas. And in reality the reality is that you don't have to have an engineering degree to benefit from this opportunity. By collaborating with the city and private entities to open this training hub, the University of Louisville, in this case Nucleus, is partnering with our community to train a workforce that's prepared for the jobs of the 21st century. Nucleus is providing the space and support, others are providing the classes. It's another outstanding example of public-private partnership to help drive our city forward. This is what a premier metropolitan research university should be doing. And this is what a successful downtown research park should look like, creating the knowledge and skills for the 21st century.
This is really a big day. I mean, it's kind of stunning. This has all come together at the speed of a rapidly moving business, not just the speed of business, but how we've advanced as a community with our coding initiatives, this physical facility, the results. You know, it's not just the buildings. I'll talk a little bit about the results here in a minute. Have been really something as well. And I can say When I scan the rest of the country and look at the other cities and what they're doing with their coding initiatives, Louisville is seen as leading the way in terms of a community response to this gap that is nationally known with technologists. So great job here to Nucleus, to U of L, for really seeing the opportunity. We work together closely on a lot of initiatives already, and the pieces of the puzzle were in place for all this to come together very, very quickly, and it's really gratifying to see it happen so quickly. And for Trinity and Barry to step up here as well. You'll be hearing from Todd and Learning House in a minute here that kind of takes this to a whole nother level as well. Is just super exciting for the community. Neville talked about the shortage that we have of technologists in the country. It's over 1 million folks. Here in Louisville alone, we have 1,700 job openings right now that require some type of technology, software coding applications. So this is a real opportunity for us here in Louisville. It's integral to our city's economic development strategy as it relates to paying above the median wage, the national median wage. So we have two goals. One is to grow jobs, but the other is to grow jobs that are good paying jobs so people can support their families and create opportunities at the same time. The projections are that by 2020, there will be over 10,000 jobs that require software coding skills here in Louisville alone. So the more proactive we are in terms of providing training for this at the entry level and the advanced level, the better positioned we will be to succeed. And as I said, I think nationally we're in awfully good shape on that right now. Code Louisville is not an old program. It began as a city program in 2013 to teach students skills such as website development, computer coding, smartphone applications. We held small classes. We also sponsored hackathons to create awareness of this, had cash prizes at those. And we now, in just a very short period of time, have 400 people enrolled in Code Louisville. That's a major response. So you got to, first they apply, you got to get through the application process, then you have to have kind of some stick-to-itiveness to it, if that's a word, to stay with it, and then to have actually 400 people in process is a great testament here to many folks. Kentuckiana Works, along with Ted Smith. Ted Smith's over here. He's our Chief for Civic Innovation, has been at the forefront of this. And then Kentuckiana Works is part of the team with Ryder Rodriguez and Michael Gritton over here as well, have just said this is something we're going to do and we're going to get after it. U of L has been there right with us as well, and they've given us now a home that we really needed to kind of cement this location. And you know, when you have a nice place like this, it gives you a little gravitas as well. I mean, people say, hey, this is real, when you can come to a place day in and day out that says what we're doing. The city of Louisville was recently awarded a federal grant by the Department of Labor to expand Code Louisville as well to the 12 counties that are surrounding Jefferson County. So this is a regional response, just as our economy is a regional economy. And this grant also helps graduates of these courses find jobs with area technology companies as well. So as we mature, and we're already working with many of our local companies on curriculum that they need that will provide the type of technology skills that they have for their company, that job placement obviously is critical as well. It's one thing to get the training, it's another thing to get the job. So that's part of our overall system. I think everybody remembers the visit by President Obama here about 2 months ago. He visited Louisville because of the success that we've been having with Code Louisville and used Louisville as a national example for other cities to emulate. One of the benefits of Code Louisville is that it's nimble and responsive. So just as you need to be in responding to the technology challenges of the world today, and those needs often change rapidly. And when we talk to companies in town, it's not unusual to have a different profile of training required 90 days from now than today. So programs like Code Louisville, the developer boot camp you'll be hearing about here shortly in a second, are able to respond very quickly like that. And that's when companies say, I appreciate what the city, what the university, what the private sector is doing to provide highly skilled talent in Louisville. When companies look at locating here, the very first question they ask, it is not about incentives, it's not about a building, it's about one thing, and it is, tell me about your workforce. Can they help us succeed in this rapidly changing competitive world? So the more we can do to lead in the development of workforce, the better that's going to be for our whole city as well. And it's one thing, we're just not teaching computer skills with Code Louisville. We're also teaching them business skills and entrepreneurship and life lessons so they can get out and get after it. One example of that is a company called Beach Technologies. The Beach Technologies founders are all from Beecher Terrace, and they're high school students. They all went to Ballard High School. They're in the computer coding, or they're in the computer club there as well. We went to Beecher Terrace about 4 or 5 months ago, and we wanted to find some kids that wanted to learn how to code. And frankly, one of the reasons for doing that is we want to change the narrative of Beecher Terrace in many people's minds. People go say, I hear about Beecher Terrace because there's been a crime committed there. Well, you can also hear about Beecher Terrace because there's great entrepreneurship there now as well. There were 7 graduates of Code Louisville. These high school students took the class after high school, and then when it was finished, the question was, what next? So Ted Smith came up with the idea of, let's start a company. Let's call it Beach Technologies. And we now have 7 founders to Beach Technologies. They're employed by our Summer Works program. And these guys now have, how many businesses have they closed, Ryder? About half a dozen so far? Yeah, we're on there 5, 6. So they're in week 4. We've closed 6 businesses, 5 or 6 businesses, and what they do is provide website services. So still 50% of companies don't have websites, believe it or not. So Beach Technologies develops those, keeps those updated, and it's been proven many times that if you have a website, your business increases. So these gentlemen will be holding a free workshop tonight, so I'm asking the media if you guys would plug this, by the way. So if you want to see a great success story, the Beach Technology team has a free workshop tonight. It's going to be located in the iHub right across this, right over here at 204 South Floyd. And what they're going to be showing businesses is how to get your business online and have an accelerated registration with Google so you can get your business online. So it's something we'd invite all businesses in the community to attend. And if you just want to see the development of some outstanding young people and how much they've learned in a very short period of time, both from technology but business skills, it'll really warm your heart, I can tell you that. So just congratulations to everybody involved with this project. This is going to pay big dividends for us many times into the future. I also want to thank Todd Zippel here with Learning House, who you're going to learn, or you're going to hear from in a second, how they're kind of now taking our training profile for software and coding to a whole nother level, which has a different application in the business world as well. And that will give us, I think, a pull regionally and nationally to folks coming here and receiving that type of accelerated training. So there's many layers to this, and you'll hear more and more as the months unfold. So thank you. Great job to everybody.
First, I would like to thank Mayor Fischer, Dr. Neville Pinto, the University of Louisville Provost, the press covering today's event, and all those involved in creating the new Trinity Video Communications Center. This is an incredible accomplishment, and I am very proud to be here with all of you today. From initial concept to full completion, the Trinity Video Communications Center is a special project that took foresight and dedication to make it happen. Specifically, I would like to give a special thanks to Vickie Yates Brown and Bob DeRosset from the Nucleus Center for developing and negotiating the specifics of our partnership. I'd also like to thank David Proffitt, the University of Louisville architect, who coordinated the entire project and kept all of us on schedule under a very tight deadline, as the mayor mentioned how quickly this was done. And finally, I'd like to thank my team of engineers and technicians for the design, the programming, and integration of the technology that will help facilitate collaboration and information sharing within this new center. I believe this partnership with the Nucleus Center is a way for Trinity Video Communications to give back now and in the future through continued development of a stronger, more extensive trained community. Having started 2 high-tech companies over the last 22 years, I know how difficult the journey can be for entrepreneurial ventures. This center will now help other high-tech organizations like Code Louisville and the Learning House achieve their visions and their dreams. And I'd finally like to say, to sustain this momentum, I would like to challenge other successful businesses, small, medium, and large, in the community to find creative ways to give back and support the development of these high-tech initiatives within the Nucleus Center and our community. Thank you.
It's great to be here, and I'm actually here to talk to you about a different brand than the Learning House, actually the Software Guild. But before I get into that, I just wanted to say a couple things about the Learning House and who we are. The Learning House was actually founded by a former professor from University of Louisville in 2001, and the company has grown from one employee, really a consulting firm helping colleges and universities, mostly small schools, build online courses and programs. Today we have about 320 employees, and we're headquartered right here in Louisville, and we couldn't be happier to be building a new concept in our hometown. What does Learning House do? Our mission is essentially to help college and universities remain relevant in a highly competitive market. And so what does remain relevant mean? Well, we are an education technology company. We help colleges build and grow online programs and think through what type of curriculum is ultimately needed in the market. And that's really what drove us into this software developer training space. We were watching this trend happen. We saw the shortage of developers, even in our own company, that we lose regularly to other businesses. I'm sure the Humanas and the UPSs of the world have this issue. And we said, why not us? Why can't we help our colleges train potential coders, developers in this market? So we started to study the bootcamp space, and it was clear that there's approximately 48,000 graduates each year in computer science, and the need for developers is way more significant than that. And so this space emerged around coding boot camps. Actually, the first boot camp was named Dev Boot Camp, and that's kind of where this whole thing evolved from. And if you don't know what a boot camp is, it's really approximately a 10 to 14-week program, full-time, 12 hours a day, intense, typically, especially in our case, has admissions standards, so you have to have a certain type of critical thinking, logic-based background to be successful. But really, you have to have no experience in development. And by the end of those 12 weeks, the promise, and so far last year or this year, it's projected the entire industry will train about 16,000 people in this boot camp model. We are doing several hundred at this point throughout the country. And the idea is to get a job, right? To get a job where you are doing one thing and probably going to be making much more money by being a developer. And so where does our story kind of evolve? Well, we partnered with one of our universities up in Minnesota, and we launched in January our first boot camp. And we're happy to say that 100% of that cohort had a job within 90 days, a high-paying job for them, and we are just off to the races up in Minnesota. In that process, we had partnered with a curriculum provider, and we realized that we really, to go big and to go into multiple cities, to go online, which is kind of where our roots are, we really needed to kind of own the curriculum, own the ethos of building out these programs. And so we bought our curriculum provider called the Software Guild. And so, all kind of happening at the same time. We closed in April on that acquisition. I met with Ted Smith and Ryder Rodriguez, telling us about the Code Louisville initiative and really talking about whether we would consider building a boot camp here in Louisville. And it so happened that our research determined that Louisville was actually a great place for in need of, and you heard from the mayor about developers, especially in .NET, which is a coding language, one of the most popular out there, and Java. And those were the two curriculums that we happened to be producing the education around. And so with a little tiny little prodding, but really us seeing the vision that the mayor had and Ted had and Ryder, that we want to be part of this. And we didn't think we would necessarily be part of this space, which we are incredibly grateful for. By day, the Software Guild will be training what we hope is 200 people next year that will then get jobs, hopefully, in the community. We'll have offices behind here. And then by night, Code Louisville will be in the space. So we think there's going to be a great synergy between the boot camp immersive experience and the Code Louisville experience, and really complementary in that regard. So, wow, I'm not good at looking at notes, so I just ran off the cuff there. Ultimately, I couldn't be more thrilled with bringing our boot camp initiative here, and I think that, on one level, one might think that Louisville is a small city, but actually I think there's a tremendous opportunity here because, one, there's a lot of employers here that have needs. We're one of those. Two, within a 2-hour driving radius, you've got Nashville, you've got Indianapolis, you've got Cincinnati, and they have needs as well. And a part of what we built in Akron, Ohio, the first location of the Software Guild, is an opportunity where people come, we lease apartments there, and they stay, and it's a full immersive experience, and we absolutely intend to do that here to attract people from all over the country, whether they're a couple hours driving distance or even by plane. So, and then the other plan that we have in January is to launch what we're calling the low residency program. So that's where people can keep their day jobs and be doing a lot of the curriculum online, and then maybe on the weekends or once a month they would actually come to Louisville. And when so now we talk about using this space 5 days a week. We'll be using it 7 days a week, hopefully, if we have our druthers, and then we could expand even well beyond the 200 people that we think this, every little parcel of carpet here will be taken by a seat. You trust me, when this is all said and done. So, we're excited to be here. The Software Guild, we think, is going to become a big part of the Louisville community, and a big partner for employers in the market. So thank you for having me here today. We're incredibly grateful to be part of this initiative. And hopefully in a year from now, you'll be meeting a lot of our students that will be filling some of those 2,000 jobs, or I forgot the number, but it's quite a few. So thanks a lot.
Well, I think, as you can see, with these coding classes that are going to be concentrated in this building, this is going to be a happening and hopping corner. And it doesn't even have to be a nightclub, right? We're going to be starting, I guess it's going to start at 8 in the morning and go to probably 9 o'clock at night. So I think it's going to really revitalize this part of the city. I think it's very exciting. And again, I want to thank you for being here with us today for this announcement. As you can tell, we are very excited, and we want to thank the Learning House. We want to thank Trinity. We want to thank the mayor's office and for all the folks that are with you, the mayor, and you helped drive this and make it happen, and I really appreciate that. And thank you, Neville, for always being there for us. We're very appreciative.